on the line by Maurice McLeod, who is an anti-racism campaigner and social commentator with expertise on issues around race, class and social justice. Thank you for joining me this afternoon on Radio London, Maurice. Can I start by asking your take, your reaction? Does this new information surprise you?
Good afternoon. No, sadly, nothing about this case, and how it's been bungled over the years is surprising. As you say, that in the public perception of this hideous murder of Stephen 30 plus years ago, what's sunk into public perception is there was a gang of 5 men who launched this race attack, and to know now that, oh no, actually there were probably 6, but we can't even bring this new person to any sort of justice because he died 2 years ago. I'm saying it with a laugh in my voice because it's ironically tragic, and it feels very symbolic of the whole handling of this murder case.
When you say that, though, Maurice, do you think that this can be attributed to individual officers' errors, or, in your perspective, does this go a lot deeper?
No, absolutely, it goes deeper. And that's not just sort of me saying that, or people that sort of do the sort of work that I do saying that. That the Macpherson report, back in 1999, found that the Met that had institutional embedded problems that meant that they couldn't do this job properly. Now, I completely understand. I've heard Baroness Lawrence call in for officers that were, found culpable of bungling this latest, arrest of this latest suspect, for them to be held to account. I totally get that, and that needs to happen. But that's only, picking out individuals and dealing with them is only a part of the problem. We still need to, and I'm afraid we don't. We need to look at this issue systemically as a whole institutional problem.
At this point, 30 years after the murder of Stephen Lawrence, as you say, what would justice look like for Stephen Lawrence's family?
Yeah, for a start, it would be really good for everyone who is able to be charged for either being involved in his murder or having bungled the case afterwards to be held to account. That's a no-brainer. That should have happened, decades ago. But more than that, and I know that this is what the Baroness is calling for, and what the recent Casey report into the Met Police also found is that we need to be serious about changing the Met. We need to leave a legacy of a police force that keeps us all safe and has our best interests at heart and treats everybody equally and that everyone can have faith in. 30 years after this young man was killed innocently walking home, we still don't have that, I'm afraid.
You have mentioned there, of course, the Casey review and report, which did find that the Met Police is institutionally racist and institutionally homophobic. My question to you on this is, Stephen Lawrence's name is raised with every subsequent report into the Metropolitan Police. What is the lasting legacy of his death?
I hope done is changed the way that we thought about these issues. I think before Stephen Lawrence's case and before the investigation into it, we really did think about individuals. Oh, there's this bad police officer's done that, or there's this officer who needs to be rooted out. It changed the language. It changed the way that we look at institutions, and it's been carried on in other bits of work as well, in some other institutions in Britain. That's a legacy. Now, we still haven't gone the whole journey. We still haven't actually enacted. It's all very well saying, oh yes, we know it's about the institution. We need to actually do that work. We still haven't done that. But the legacy is to at least acknowledging the size of the problem.
We talk about acknowledging the size of the problem. How has it affected relationships directly between the Metropolitan Police and Black Londoners?
Sadly, that relationship has been strained forevermore. I think this case in particular, Stephen Lawrence's case in particular, and how it was handled, is another brick in that. But but to be honest, if you're from a black community and you grow up in certain parts of the country, in particular London, you know, it's very hard to have a very positive take on the police because of your interactions with them, because of what you see. You know, I've stopped 100 times as a young man and I've never been, you know, accused of any sort of crime. So it's more, you know, I wouldn't want to say, oh, since Stephen Lawrence, there's been a real problem of trust in the community. It's just another brick in that wall, I'm afraid.
Are you saying the relations are strained or are they diminished? I mean, do you think it still affects the current generation of young black Londoners, or are there other cases in their mind?
Oh, there are certainly other cases in their mind. You know, as important as Stephen's murder was, it was important not because of its uniqueness, to be honest. Not because, you know, there are plenty of racist murders. There are plenty of incidents that bring certain communities, the black communities in London, into conflict with the police, where you know, those are ongoing. We had, you know, the shooting of Chris Cabba, you know, very recently. So I'm not at all suggesting it doesn't need new generations to constantly be thinking about Stephen Lawrence. That's just part now of the sad history of injustice that you know, black Britons have faced.
Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, Maurice, and also for sharing your perspective and take on this. Maurice McLeod there, as I mentioned, is an anti-racism campaigner and also social commentator. If you would like